Hello everyone and welcome to another movie review by Centipede Geek. Today I'm going to review a film in the name of Godzilla. Now, as I'm sure most of you know, all of you probably know, we all know what Godzilla is. It dates all the way back to some 40, 50 some odd years ago. And, Godzilla, most recently, I believe the most recent big theatrical adaptation was back in the year of, I believe it was 1999 or 2000 when Godzilla 2000 came out, directed by a director by the name of Roland Emmerich, and now we have this most recent adaptation in the year of 2014, directed by a guy by the name of Gareth Edwards, and it's written, the screenplay's done by a guy by the name of Max Bornstein, and the story's done by Dave Callahan. And it stars actors by the name of Aaron Taylor Johnson, C.J. Adams, Ken Wannabe, Bryan Cranston, and Elizabeth Olsen. And pretty much the main plot of Godzilla is this one, normally it's mainly about our character. I don't want to spoil too much, but normally it's all about our character of Godzilla. This one takes a little while to introduce our character of Godzilla. We pretty much have, it's pretty much sort of a human story, that is, until Godzilla gets introduced, and then in my opinion, the story just kind of goes out the window because all you really care about is Godzilla. But this film is still about Godzilla, but before Godzilla is introduced, we have sort of this human drama going on about this Bryan Cranston's character, this father that believes like in this crazy radioactive thing, this father that believes in this, he's just lost his wife, so he's going through that. Aaron Taylor Johnson plays the son, and he's having to deal with, whether or not to believe his father, Bryan Cranston, all while, Elizabeth Olsen's character taking care of her kids at home, that sort of thing, and then the movie is mainly about Aaron Taylor Johnson trying to get back home to his family, that way he can be there for them, and to get away from, the threats that impose him in this movie. That's the main plot for the remake or reboot, whatever you want to call it, of the film in the name of Godzilla, released in the year of 2014. Overall, I really enjoyed this movie. This was a fantastic treat to watch. Probably one of the funnest action-packed movies I've seen in a long time. And I have to say also, definitely one of the most entertaining movies I've seen in a long time. I will say, if you're not patient, it does take quite a while for Godzilla to get introduced. Here's where the major spoilers are to come in. If you haven't seen the movie, you might want to click pause, otherwise keep watching, right? Because spoilers are ahead, right? So let's get to it. So, there's not just Godzilla in this movie. We also have two other creatures. We have a male and a female, and I forget what their names are, but, with Godzilla, a male and a female. One's like a weird-looking butterfly, winged creature, and the other one doesn't. One's male, one's female. And in this movie, we have these two creatures, and they're pretty much trying to mate and make more creatures. That way, the world can be overcome with these creatures. Godzilla is treated more as a human, more as a hero or a savior to save humankind, and then go back in the water and do whatever he needs to do after that. That's pretty much what this is. So it's not all the way a Godzilla movie. It's like it starts off being a human drama, which I didn't mind at all. It had some pretty decent scenes and decent interactions and stuff like that. Overall, as a drama, I thought it was okay. It was interesting. It wasn't amazing. The drama there was decent. There were some decent characters. I thought Bryan Cranston's character was pretty noteworthy, even though he's only in there just for a little bit. His character is probably the most noteworthy character. Aaron Taylor Johnson, a great actor, but his character is just kind of basic. He's great in chat room. He's good and kick-ass. But overall, his character is written in sort of a basic way in this. Elizabeth Olsen, she's kind of just there in my opinion. But the main star in this film is Godzilla and the two other creatures. The two other creatures actually have more screen time than Godzilla does. And so what we have here, is a human drama, and then the last sort of, I guess you could say, maybe 15, 20 minutes, the last segment of the film is a huge fight, and this is where the movie really shines. A huge fight between the two creatures in Godzilla. Now, it'll tease you a lot, and this was aggravating to me at times. It teases you a lot where it'll show the fighting through like news footage and security cameras, and like it'll show the Godzilla's foot at first. So the film does a lot of teasing. So you're like, and then it'll go right back. It'll tease you, go back to the human drama. Tease you again, and then go right back to the human drama. And at first that was a problem with me. I was like, okay, just give me Godzilla, I'm sick of seeing this. But once I saw the ending of the film, I had no problem with that. I was like, okay, it was worth it. It was worth going through all that nonsense in order to see the end result, because the end result is a lot of fight scenes, some crazy blue fire laser, whatever the heck you want to call it, some crazy bluish looking beam that comes out of, that comes out of Godzilla, so that was crazy. Action alone, that was the best thing about Godzilla. After that, I didn't give a hell about the drama. I didn't really care about the drama. It was a load of nonsense compared to the action that was going on right then. That's why I enjoyed the movie so much. It was because of those last few moments of action, and it was an interesting concept to treat Godzilla as this savior, as this hero, instead of him just randomly knocking down buildings as he does in some of the previous films. Now, I will say I do like the old Godzilla 2000. I know a lot of other people don't like it, but I think Roland Emmerich did a pretty decent job. I've always kind of liked that one. It was always a pretty fun one, in my opinion. Comparing these two, they're pretty drastically different, so it's really hard to compare them, so I'm not going to, because they're just two totally different films. Overall, the new Godzilla, definitely a great film. It's one of the few Godzilla films where you're actually sort of scared by Godzilla. There's some very good horror vibes where, like, Godzilla, creeps around and the creatures creak around and you don't want to mess with them, so some nice horror vibes with the way. It's a very dark film, and I love the darkness about it. It didn't bother me at all. The dark sort of, the very dark tone about the film with the dark colors and the scenes where, like, the flashing of Godzilla with the smokes around him and stuff, and if it's some great stuff. Godzilla throwing creatures around, just ripping the head off of the one, blowing the blast of the one at the end. Some really cool stuff overall that I really enjoyed. That's my review of the film with the name of Godzilla the Reboot for the year of 2014. Make sure to like, comment, subscribe to my page below, and I'll see you guys later with more videos.